Hello everybody, Olivier Barrette speaking. Thank you, Michael. So now we'll cover a bit more feature regarding DSS, a bit more technical feature before doing a demo that will illustrate these features. So here it is. Very briefly, DSS is developed in Java, as you may already know. It actually supports Java 1.7. 1.8 is required for the demo just because we use JavaFX features in the demo. It is open source, so you are completely free. It is LGPL 2.1. It means that you are completely free to reuse it, either for academic or commercial purposes. It is a very open license. And of course, as already Michael said, it's a library for creating, extending and validating e-signatures conforming to the standardized format. Okay. This library, as we will see, is not an application. Once again, we don't want to compete with the market. This library can be used in different ways. It can be used as a standalone configuration. It can be completely deployed on a server for doing a remote signature, or it can be a mix of them if you want to. We will not have the time today to cover these different ways of configuring, but please remember that there is a documentation explaining that. Okay, in terms of standards, these are the standards that DSS is supporting in creation. Because we follow the Commission implementing decision mentioned by Michael, we support these standard formats. These are actually the new ones. The new ones, so these are the norms, starting with 319, okay, for CADES, XADES, PADES, and ASIC. Please note that by default, DSS is configured for these. If you want, because you want to strictly stick to the current version of the Commission implementing decision, you can decide to switch in a configuration file. You can decide to switch to stick strictly to the old ones. Okay, and then you will create a signature conformant to the others. To these. There are no big differences between the two, but again, if it's for a matter of being strictly compliant, you have the ability in DSS to say so. Okay. In terms of validation, validation is of course wider than that because we want to validate as much e-signature as possible. So it will validate all the formats of these CADES, XADES, PADES, ASIC. It will validate the new ones, the ones that are mentioned here. It will also validate, for your information, PKCS7 format. It means that it's something we have added a bit recently. Actually, it gives the ability to be able to validate signature coming from Adobe Reader, because as you know, you can create electronic signature in Adobe Reader simply by connecting a smart card and a reader, for instance. And by default, if the person creating the signature doesn't know, Adobe Reader will create a PKCS7, not a PADES PDF signature. And so we added this feature in DSS as well, so that now completely seamlessly you can validate a signature coming from Adobe with no hassle. Okay, we could add as well that we support if there are people at this webinar interested in Estonian signatures, electronic signatures. Please know that BDoc and DDoc formats from Estonia, at least when ASIC is involved, when they are based on ASIC, please note that these signatures are supported as well. Okay, and we will see in a later slide that regarding validation, we stick to the 319.102 part 1, which is the validation algorithm standardized by ETSI. These were for the formats. For the levels, if you know a bit about the levels of electronic signatures, we support all of them. meaning that we support from the basic baseline profile, where in the signature you will find only the original file, the file that has been signed, some signed attributes, signed together with the file, and the signature itself. This is the basic format, the basic baseline profile. We support them up to this LTA format, LTA for long-term archive, where actually next to the field I mentioned, you will find a timestamp for ensuring the time proof of existence of the signature. You will find the revocation data of all the tokens that are in the file, meaning the signing certificate, maybe the intermediate CA of that signing certificate, the timestamp itself, etc., etc., and everything being timestamped again with archive timestamps. DSS handles this format. Please note that for archiving reasons, but this is outside of the scope of this webinar, these two last formats, LT and LTA, can be repeated a number of times, for instance, every year, to ensure the correctness of your signature on the long term. In terms of validation, as I said, we stick to the 319.102 part 1, which is the process for signature validation regarding advanced electronic signatures. If you don't know it, you can easily find these formats on the web provided by Etsy. Next to it, we support, I would say, an early implementation, or at least a current draft version of the qualification policy. Please note that this draft, however, is not currently public, but the public version, the finalized version, will be, I think, issued in August. Okay, and based on internal discussion with the experts and the draft versions, we are already implementing, I would say, a prior version of it. That could also be helpful for you if you want to interpret Article 32 of the eIDAS regulation, which states how to validate a qualified electronic signature or a qualified electronic seal for Article 40, I think. Close to these, as you will see in the demo, the result of a validation is a validation result, of course. There is no standard so far. Again, one standard is planned for this year. This is 319.102 part 2. This standard is still, I think, a draft will be issued by Etsy early this next year, and the finalized version should be issued in August again. And so we plan, but we will see later in the roadmap, we plan for next year to align DSS with these standards for validation result. So far, as you will see in the demo, we produce our own validation result, but which is very, very detailed, and that will be, we think, a good basis for the next implementation. Okay, a bit of explanation regarding constraints. You will find in DSS a configuration file for setting a particular policy. If you want to set a particular validation policy, you will find more details in the documentation again. But this is where, for instance, the place where you can set your particular constraint if you don't want to, for instance, if your validation policy is constraining you to reject particular algorithm or particular levels, or the fact that you don't want to validate with a revoked certificate, or you don't want to support PKCS7, for instance, as we said, etc., etc. But again, this is outside of the scope of this first webinar, and we encourage you to go to the documentation for that. Okay, so demo. A live demo was not feasible today because of the time constraint, so we decided to do a few screenshots of a real demonstration. If you want to see a live demonstration, no problem, we will provide you all the links. A live demonstration is easily accessible as there is a demo that is hosted by the Commission on the CEF portal. And of course, if you want to, you can also download the bundle we will point to in later slides, and you can host your own version of the demo and play with it on a local installation. So this is how the demo looks like. As you see on the left, there are many features that are illustrated in this demo. Again, this is a demo. This is not DSS itself. DSS is a library, and so we use this demo to illustrate different features of DSS. On the left, you can see as well documentation. This is where you will find the documentation I was mentioning. And at the bottom of the left, you have useful links that you may find useful while testing or developing with DSS. Okay, so here for the sake of the demo, we will sign a document with a basic signature. We'll then extend the signature to an archive format, and we will validate the signature. Okay, so let's first do a signature. As you can see, there are many options you can choose. Of course, you have to select the file to be signed, but you will also have to decide for the signature format, for the level, the baseline levels, algorithm, etc., etc. Here, for the sake of the demonstration, with the signature with a smart card, it means that, and this is a web demo, it means that we need a tool to connect from the web to the smart card. Actually, you need, if you want to run a demo, you need several modules. You need the demo itself, web-based. You need a tool to connect the smart card. Here we use Nexu. Nexu is an open source agent that runs on a laptop, for instance, and that connects the smart card to the website. And not to forget, you need the middleware of the smart card properly installed on your laptop. Okay, so if you run this demo from the demo hosted at the Commission, you will need to somehow install this open source Nexu, and you will have to install your middleware of the smart card. So, okay, so we will sign here in PADES-B, meaning that we will sign a PDF in a basic format. So this is a fake demo contract we have done just for the sake of the demo. Suppose you want to sign something completely electronically, and that you want to have this signature to have the same legal effect as a handwritten signature. So we will use a qualified certificate based on the smart card, meaning that with that we will be able to do what we call a qualified electronic signature, completely equivalent with a handwritten one. Okay? So we have the document, we go to the demo, and we click on sign. This is a Nexu module that will tell you that it has found a smart card reader on your laptop. You select this reader, there is only one, and then this is MSCAPI connection to the smart card. The tool has found several certificates, empiric is selecting the certificate that is corresponding to the signature. You see at the bottom usage non-repudiation. Okay, you enter the PIN code of your smart card. I will not tell the PIN code of Pyrrhic. And then signature is done. To prove that the signature is okay, let's open that same signed document, the PDF, with Adobe Reader. And as you can see, Adobe Reader understands our PADES signature, You can see it is being correctly signed by Pierrick, that the certificate is qualified, and so Adobe Reader, because now Adobe Reader is aligned with the eIDAS regulations regarding qualified electronic signature, and Adobe Reader can connect to the trusted list. He recognized that the source of trust is obtained from the trusted list, and that he confirms that the signature is a qualified electronic signature, meaning that this signature, this electronic signature, is completely equivalent to a handwritten one, and so the demo contract we signed at the beginning is completely correctly signed and can be sent via email in place of sending paper documents via regular mail. Very handy, as soon as you start using it. Okay, so let's extend the signature. Just a recap, we have currently a baseline B, meaning a basic signature. We have only the document signed, a few signing fields, together with the signature itself. If you want to keep that signature for a long time, you will need to what we call extend that signature, meaning that you will need to take on board of the signature revocation data, timestamps, and all that. This is a bit out of scope of the webinar, but you will have more details of that in the standards regarding the formats themselves, the one we pointed. Okay, so here we select LTA, meaning we will produce an archive version of the signature. Okay, so the signature has been done. Now, if we validate that signature, that extended signature, this is how it looks in DSS. You have different ways, actually, you have different tabs regarding the result of the validation. Up there, simple report, detailed report, and diagnostic tree, sorry. Simple report, it's a summary, a bit like the Adobe Reader pop-up. You have kind of the general conclusion regarding the validation by DSS, and you can see here that indeed this is a qualified electronic signature, and the indication is totally passed, total pass. Actually, this is a standard wording from 319.102. There are three different outcomes that can come here. It's total passed, total failed, or indeterminate. Indeterminate means there is not enough information to conclude whether it's total passed or total failed. Once again, we encourage you to go to the 319.102 standard to understand the three different levels. But please remind that normally there are 3 levels and then a sub-level for explanation. Okay. Let's see maybe the detailed report. This is actually way longer than what is displayed here. I think it's something like 3 or 4 pages long, but it's very, very, very detailed to give you all the checks that the validation has done, based both on 319.102, so the ADES validation, and this pre-version of 119.172 part 4, this qualification validation of qualified signature. Okay. What is not illustrated in this slide is the third tab, diagnostic tree. If you click on it, you will see actually the bare XML that is managed by DSS. And what is it? It's just a collection of all the information that DSS has taken from the signature before concluding on the signature. So if you want to re-implement your own algorithm or your own decision, it's completely feasible. You can start from this tree and take all the information that DSS has collected, but do your own decision. So you can really reuse DSS in a modular way. Okay. This validation report you can of course print it or download it in PDF if you prefer. Okay. That's it for the demo.